everyone at school start handing you money? I was walking through the main entrance of school when this kid I'd never seen before stepped right in front of me, reached into his pocket and pulled out a $20 bill. Before I could say anything, he pressed it into my hand and gave me this sad look like someone told him to stop gooning. "I'm sorry for your loss, bro," he said, squeezing my shoulder. I stood there holding the 20 feeling completely confused. The kid walked away before I could ask what he was talking about. I figured maybe he had me mixed up with someone else, so I pocketed the money and headed to my locker. 3 more people nodded at me in the hallway with these serious expressions on their faces. At my locker, a girl from my English class came up holding a $10 bill. She had tears in her eyes as she handed it to me, saying the same thing about being sorry for my loss. I tried to tell her I hadn't lost anything, but she hugged me and walked away sniffling. Now I had $30 and no idea what was happening. During first period, 2 more kids slipped me money when the teacher wasn't looking. One gave me $5 and another gave me $15. They both whispered condolences and patted my back. Even my teacher kept glancing at me with this pitying expression. When class ended, she pulled me aside and handed me $40 from her purse, telling me to stay strong. By lunch, I was carrying over $100 in my pockets. Kids I barely knew were coming up to me with cash and sad faces. Some hugged me while others just nodded respectfully and walked away. A group of freshmen pooled their lunch money together and gave me $23 in crumpled 1s and 5s. The lunch lady wouldn't even let me pay for my food. The weirdest part was that everyone seemed to know something I didn't. They kept mentioning my grandfather and how brave he was. One kid said it was amazing that he served our country, and another mentioned something about a war. I didn't even have a grandfather who was alive, let alone one who died in a war. Both my grandfathers passed away before I was born from regular old age. In gym class, the coach pulled me aside and handed me a $50 bill. He said he understood if I needed to sit out today given the circumstances. I was about to ask what circumstances when 3 seniors walked over and each handed me $20. They saluted me like I was some kind of military family member and said my grandfather was a hero. The money kept coming all afternoon. Kids emptied their wallets and gave me whatever they had. Some only had a couple dollars while others gave me 20s and 10s. A girl in my art class started a collection right there in the classroom and gathered $37 from other students. Even the janitor stopped me in the hallway to give me a 5. By the time the final bell rang, my pockets were stuffed with bills. I went to the bathroom and counted it all in a stall. $311 total. My hands were shaking as I separated the bills by denomination, trying to make sense of what was happening. Everyone at school thought someone in my family had died, but nobody in my family was even sick. I walked out of school feeling like I was in some weird dream. Kids were still nodding at me respectfully, and a few more tried to give me money, but I waved them off. My pockets were already bulging, and I didn't want to take advantage of whatever misunderstanding was happening. I just needed to get home and figure out what was going on. As soon as I got to my room, I called my best friend Adam, who'd been homesick all day. He answered on the 3rd ring, sounding congested and miserable. I immediately started telling him about the money and the weird comments about my grandfather. He was quiet for a long moment before clearing his throat. "Dude, you don't know about the GoFundMe?" Adam asked, sounding surprised. My stomach dropped. I told him I had no idea what he was talking about. Adam said everyone had been sharing it on social media since last night. He couldn't believe I hadn't seen it yet. My phone had been acting up lately and I hadn't checked Instagram or anything all day because I was too confused by the money situation. "Check your messages," Adam said. "I'll send you the link right now." A second later, my phone buzzed with a link from Adam. I clicked on it and waited for the page to load. The GoFundMe appeared with a title that made my blood run cold. It said, "Help send back our grandfather who died on vacation," and already had over $2,000 raised. The description talked about funeral costs and transportation fees. I scrolled down to see who started the fundraiser and nearly dropped my phone. Right there in bold letters, it showed the organizer's name. Full story on channel link below.